Yeah.
I've been to Mar-a-Lago a couple. He says, yes. So you sure you want to work for a company that's working on
distribution company before you turn 30?
Yeah.
The 300 million, correct?
So, and it's going to end up being probably more because there's more things that are coming with it. And then I took that and I financial services, and I keep going with this mindset of wanting to take pressure away from people. Then all of a sudden, one day we're waking up $34 trillion in debt. Who's going to be 3% owner of the company?
Excess of 300
minutes. I said, I'm going to build a website or an app one day that I get to pay people by the minute. Later on, we built Connect. You have a minute to connect. Let's connect. And now on email, I can send you an email. The chance of a cold email respond back is less than 1%. A DM is less than 3%. A tweet is less than 5%, or a LinkedIn is 8%. On Connect, 94% response because you're paying for it.
Right.
So they'll respond back, right? So everything in America, when I look at, is if we're going to be in the business of looking at only problems, look at the problem and then blaming him and blaming him and blaming him versus here's a problem, what can I do about it? If we're more going in the mindset of what can I do about it, we can decrease entitlement. We can get more people figuring out ways to make money on their own. We don't need to sit there and say, hey, we'll pay your college. Oh, don't worry about it. You don't have any money. You don't need to pay for it. We're going to forgive you.
You know, Patrick Bet David he just always makes, okay. Sometimes, you know, I feel like he gets it wrong geopolitically, but other than that, his mindset, obviously we know Patrick Bet David has a pretty good mindset. And right now he's talking to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith apparently has a new podcast, and he knew just who to bring on was Patrick Bet David. So I wonder who his next guest will be. But anyway, so they sat down and they talked about a few things. They talked about the state of America, how things are going, all of that. And you know, it was a pretty good discussion. So it was nice to see. It was a pretty good discussion. Of course, Patrick is talking about people who just love to complain.
Keep going with this mindset of wanting to take pressure away from people. Then all of a sudden, one day we're waking up $34 trillion in debt. Who's going to pay for it? These kids are going to say, hey, mom, dad, what'd you guys do about all this stuff? Well, listen, we just kind of pushed the problem over to you. You guys figured it out. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You'll pay it off. How do you pay that kind of money? You either write it off or the dollar's worth shit or your taxes go up. But the pressure, regardless, is on the next generation. So I think a part of it for me is for this generation to kind of stand up and say, what can I do about it individually? Then vote accordingly. Then go make your money and then find a way to get involved in public service. Church.
I mean, that's really straightforward. By the way, guys, if you like the videos that I've been making, please don't forget to hit the like button. Please hit subscribe and the notification bell. Really, really helps a ton. Thank you so much, everybody who watches. But to get back to the point, he is right. Like, I mean, you know, it's like the mindset of complaining, but what is the solutions? And he's giving you kind of the basic 1, 2, 3 step of what should be done. I have talked to people like younger than me who are 20, who are seeing exactly the kind of unnecessary polarization that we are living in, how the systems aren't working. And they're like, you know, we don't have time to be young kids and have fun. We got to figure this thing out. And I'm like, man, there's a part of me that kind of, I don't know if it feels bad, but I'm just more like, that's crazy. Cause like, we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know the systems that were being put in place or these complexes that were finally being, after a while, the way you use things, like the way these debts and everything, you know, it dries up after a while. So we didn't realize things were drying up. You know, my generation kind of got the real good fruit of it all. Unfortunately, the fig tree, like the one that, you know, the fig tree that's not going to bear any fruit anymore, you know? So anyway, I do feel like we should have been paying more attention, but how would we have known to pay attention? Culturally, things didn't even start changing until maybe I would say Obama came around a little after that, like his second term. And then you could see the Marxism that was federalized, you know, being put in and everything. And then finally people started to wake up. So it's a shame how things have gone, but I'm not doom and gloom. It's just there's a reset that I feel like needs to happen and that will happen. We just have to be very mindful of who we work with during those resets, you know?
Charity or politics? That's very simple.
And you're a businessman, and I think that your resume is atypical. You're far more successful than most businessmen in my estimation. But your mentality, your mindset, as you just highlighted, seems to me indicative of what every boss would want. Don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions. Now you can identify the problem if you bring me a solution.
Right.
But if you just come in to bitch, whine, and moan,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, anything it is, right? Like if I'm hearing sports, you know what? It's the coach's fault. Let's fire another coach. Again, it's another coach's. How many coaches' faults is it going to be? No, it's the GM's fault. No, it's the owner's fault. No, it's this person's fault. And then you finally eventually realize, here's what I'm willing to do. My name is Dirk Nowitzki. Hey, Mark, I'm willing to take a pay cut to bring 2 new players in because I want to win a championship. And I'm going up against a team called the Miami Heat that has Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James. You end up beating those guys, yes. For the rest of your legacy, you're always going to be able to say you beat a prime Wade, a prime LeBron, and a prime Bosh. That's a pretty good story to tell. But that's because you took a pay cut. So, hey, you want to win a championship, Dirk? I do. What's your solution? Pay me less, but bring me better plays. Great.
It pays.
So you know what? That's a good point that he made there. I'm not going to do any kind of advertisement for Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to advertise though for myself and say, guys, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thank you. Now coming back to it, that's a good point that he makes. Sometimes you have to take when he's saying like take a pay cut, he's saying step out on faith. And I can tell you that I see a lot of that happening more and more today. I understand it now. When I was 30, I thought that was insane. And not to say stepping out on faith was insane, but more just thinking like, just give me my 9 to 5, guys. You know what I mean? Just give me, and I'm good, whatever. Everything is all good. That's it. I knew I had certain talents, but it was like, whatever. I'm good at this nursing. I'm fine. And listen, I don't hate the fact that I'm a nurse. I think it's a beautiful thing. I do know one day I won't be, as far as like I'll always be a nurse in my mind and my heart, right? All right, we're not making this about me. A decade later, I'm like, I figured it makes sense now. Do what you find to be your purpose. We all have purpose. I'll end off with this. We all have a purpose. We all have talents. We all have goals. We're made with purpose. Find your purpose. It doesn't have to be, YouTube channel, but find your purpose. Do what you love. Do what you love. And I think I will leave it there. I'll see you guys next time.